Hello everyone, welcome to Amrita IAS monthly current affairs series, and we'll be finishing with environment and ecology part 2. So as I told you, in the part 2 we'll have discussion on UNFCCC. Now more importantly, the discussion will focus on COP25 that happened in Madrid. However, I'll discuss some of the basic things as well. But more importantly, I hope you have covered that in your static part. So Kyoto Protocol, Global Environment Facility, Green Climate Fund, all these things you must prepare as well. Okay, let's start. So the story starts from 1972 in Stockholm, United Nations Conference on Human and Environment. Okay, so that started in 1972. Then the question of whether the development pursuit that is happening, is it in congruence with the environmental questions, or the way we are developing the mindless pursuit of the material interest, it is hampering our environment as well. So environmental concerns first time came into being consideration internationally. Now, one of the major outcome of this was the establishment of UNEP, that is United Nations Environment Program. Together with UNEP and WMO, they have established IPCC, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. Now, it releases many assessment reports, isn't it? And whenever it releases assessment reports, because it is based upon extensive research, a lot of outcomes come after the IPCC's assessment report, right? So it is only the IPCC's assessment report we came to recognize the seriousness of the climate change, the impact of it. Then in 1992, the Earth Summit happened in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. So it is called United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, okay, UNCED, right. So the summit itself, there are many documents that were part of it. First, the Rio Declaration, Forest Principles, and Agenda 21. Agenda 21 was more related to the sustainable development. Then UNCCD, it can be said that it became part of the Agenda 21, or informally we can say that UNCCD, that is United Nations Convention on Combating Desertification, that we have discussed in detail on COP14 that has happened in India. Then Millennium Development Goal, then Sustainable Development Goal are there. Then the second thing started, that is on climate change. So UNFCCC, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Then we have Kyoto Protocol, then Paris Agreement. So various COPs are there, and today we'll be discussing COP25. Then there is CBD, that is Convention on the Biological Diversity, CBD. We have Nagoya Protocol, Cartagena Protocol, Nagoya, Kuala Lumpur Supplementary Protocol. So this we will discuss in June month. Just like we're discussing UNFCCC, just like we'll have some discussion on the biodiversity as well. Okay. Now, following up this particular Rio Summit, 1992, follow-up happened after 10 years. Rio, it is called Rio plus 10, and then recently it is Rio plus 20 Summit. Okay, so Rio plus 10 and Rio plus 20. Please keep in mind the wording as well. World Summit on the Sustainable Development, then United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development, right? One question has been asked on what is Rio 20 previously in the UPSC. Okay, so let us start. So firstly, very basic idea, what is Conference of Parties? So Conference of Parties, basically you can say the meeting of the nations which are part of the UNFCCC convention. So there are nations which are part of this UNFCCC convention. When they meet, it is called COP. Okay, we'll read two more terms today that will be related to Kyoto Protocol and the Paris Agreement. Right. So first COP happened in Berlin. Some of the famous COP, for example, first Rio Summit in Brazil, then we have Kyoto Protocol in Japan. In India also one COP happened, COP8. Okay, so please remember that. If they can ask one factual question as well. Okay, is there any COP happened in India also? Yes. Then we have COP18 happened in Doha. It is called Doha Amendment to Kyoto Protocol. We'll discuss that in brief. Then COP21 happened in Paris. COP25 happened in the Madrid, Spain. Okay, then if you come to timeline, so again 1992 Earth Summit, then in the COP3 in Kyoto, they decided to come up with a Kyoto Protocol. In 2005, Kyoto Protocol was ratified. Kyoto has 2 commitment periods. The first commitment period was 2008 to 2012. The other commitment period is 2013 to 2020. Hence, after the 2020, what will be happening? For that, the discussion when happened in Paris, it led to the finalization of the Paris Agreement. Okay, so Paris Agreement in essence talks about the post 2020, what it will be done, right? So before 2020, everything is under the Kyoto Protocol, right? So this is mentioned here as well. So now we have majorly, for example, COP for Earth Summit, UNFCCC. So people meeting under the umbrella of this. Then we have Kyoto. So people meeting for the Kyoto Protocol. It is called CMP. And now people meeting under the Paris Pledge, and it is called CMA. Okay. So sorry, yes, CMA. So COP, CMP, and CMA. Don't get confused. It is here as well. It is from Japan's Ministry of Environment. I have taken the screenshot. So that is Kyoto Protocol, CMP, then Kyoto Protocol, and then after 2016 we have CMA as well. That is Paris Agreement Conference of Party, which meet annually. And from 2019 we're gonna continue this thing, right? Okay, then now we have COP25, that is Madrid Conference of Parties. Remember, it is under the presidency of the child. Okay, so Spain is not holding the presidency of the COP, but it is happening in Spain. Logistically, it is happening in Spain, but the presidency is with child. Similarly, if you remember COP23, so the presidency was with Fiji, but it happened in Bonn, Germany, because Fiji cannot hold such big event. Like the argument was given like that. Okay, so it is also called the Blue COP because the intention now is on the oceans according to this particular convention. So these are very few minute details you need to keep in mind. Then just to have a timeline, so Kyoto Protocol was COP3, Paris Agreement was COP23. Okay, it was not COP23, it was COP21. I'm sorry, it is not 23, it is COP21. And it was CPM11, that is from the Kyoto Protocol. Then we have Madrid Conference, that is COP25, CMP12 and CMA2. CMA2 means after the Paris Agreement, CMA2. I hope you are getting the timelines, right? You can also see CMP, COP21 to COP25. Then we have CMP11 to CMP15. So difference of 4, isn't it? From Paris Agreement to Madrid Conference. Just if you know once that's enough. Just then again, every time it comes in news, you will have an idea of it. Okay, right? So coming to the COP25, so there are basically 5 things we need to discuss. COP25, that is Madrid. So what is the name first of all of the document they have released? That is Child Madrid Time of Action. So the first question can come, Child Madrid Time for Action. This document is related to what? Okay, so this document is related to the UNFCCC climate change negotiation, COP25 that happened in the Madrid. So there are 5 things. First thing is the emission reduction. Now you know from Paris Agreement that every country has nationally determined contribution, that every country will determine its own contribution, how much we will reduce the greenhouse gas emission. Okay, so discussion has to be done on this. Then the discussion on the loss and damage, we will discuss that in detail. Loss and damage, we will focus in detail. So the discussion on loss and damage is happening. The discussion on the climate finance, discussion on carbon market, this also we will discuss in detail. And then gender action plan. We'll see 5-year gender action plan has been finalized. Now emission target, again it was a disappointing one because no clear timeline for nation to enhance their NDC in 2020 were adopted. Now the countries have their NDCs, right? Nationally determined contribution. But the idea is to, obviously, so that we can introduce more GHGs, we can reduce more GHG emissions. The idea is to enhance their NDCs, isn't it? Then climate finance. So negotiations were unable to agree on whether the decision should be taken, because in the climate change negotiations, the biggest issue is of the finance. Finance is the biggest issue, that how the financing will be done, right? So again, it was disappointing. Again, these things will not come into examination, okay? Or the question can come in the form of an statement, true or false type of thing. Okay, in COP25, they have come up with a very solid agreement on the finance. No, that is not right. Or they have enhanced the NDCs of country, they have come up with agreement on it. No, this is also not right. So just keep that in mind, that COP25 was not very significant in that sense. So COP adopted the Child Madrid time of action document. One document we will see, Santiago Network was established as a part of the loss and damage, that we will discuss again. Then this was the gender one, gender action plan. So gender action plan, they have adopted 5-year gender action plan intended to support the implementation of gender related decisions and mandate in the UNFCCC process. Now the gender question is very important as far as the climate question is concerned, right? Because the climate has a disproportionate more impact on the women. And when it has more impact on the women, and also it is also said that women are more suited, if they're empowerment of women is directly can impact our climate change initiatives, right? So you can say both have a very cause and effect relationship. So this is that, not very important. So before discussion on loss and damage, let us quickly revise the difference between mitigation and adaptation. So what is mitigation? So the mitigation is the idea of the mitigation, obviously, for example, greenhouse gas emissions are happening, right? So idea of the mitigation, that this to reduce these greenhouse gas emission on the first hand, the actions to reduce and curb the greenhouse gas emission, so that in the very first place climate change does not happen, right? So it attends to the causes of the climate change. The cause of the climate change means the predominant cause is increase of the global warming greenhouse gas. So addressing those, it is related to the mitigation. Now let us assume that climate change is happening. So the impacts of climate change we are seeing. So adapting to it, that is called adaptation. It is to reduce the vulnerability, right? So climate change will happen, its impact will come. So how to do adaptation to it? And that is called adaptation. Actions to reduce the vulnerability to the climate change. Adaptation means addressing its impact. Let us very quickly see one of the process. For example, what you will do to mitigate it. So for example, electrical vehicle, energy being energy efficient, greater use of the renewable energy, electrification of the industrial process, electronic transportation, carbon tax and emission market. So as to reduce the overall GHG in the market. This question can come. They can give you 2 to 3 options. Okay, this is a part of mitigation or this is a part of adaptation. This can be a very, very easy question. But if one has not revised, they can get it wrong. Similarly, adaptation is, just one second. Adaptation is what? More secure facilities and infrastructure. Why? Because of the impact of climate change. So because of impact of climate change, if anything happens, we need to have more secure facilities. We need to restore the landscape, right? For example, desertification is happening. We need to reorient our policies for agriculture, right? Evacuation plant, health issues, flexible and diverse cultivation. So this is the impact on the agriculture. So adapting our agriculture to the challenge of the climate change. So these are the adaptation measures. Now, everything does not go beyond mitigation adaptation. Now, first of all, what do you think the developed country will focus on versus the developing? So developed country will focus on what? Mitigation. This electrical vehicle and all these things. Developing countries say we are already facing the problems of climate change. So we should focus more on adaptation. But there are third set of countries. Within subset, you can say developing and the least developing countries. Those who are saying, no, the climate change impacts are already here. We are facing the burnt of the climate change impact. We are losing lives, livelihood. So the losses and damages have already happened. So there is not enough, they say there is not even enough mitigation. And yes, the adaptation is not possible. And the losses and damages have already happened, right? For example, they say cyclone has already come. What you can adapt to it? Yes, slowly we can adapt. But what about the losses which are already there? Hence, these developed countries, those under the CBDR, common but differentiated responsibilities, those who have historically polluted the space, because of which we are facing the losses and damages. Hence, they should do the compensation part now. They should not focus on this mitigation adaptation. They should focus on it, but they should also focus on this losses and damages which are already there. However, there is no specific definition of losses and damages. Losses refer to the complete loss, such as loss of life. Habitat damages refer to something can be repaired, such as road or something, right? So this is what it is there. So they have started to consider the third category: adaptation, mitigation, then losses and damages. So this is, for example, you can see. So there are some are slow onset events. For example, loss of biodiversity, desertification, rising temperature, salination, for which we can have adaptation and mitigation. But for example, for these events, drought, flood, tropical cyclones, heat waves, storm surges, what we need to have for it? That is losses and damages and the compensations for it. Compensation from those people who have already historically polluted this space. So, if we talk about losses and damages in terms of chronology, for example, a very small state, Vanuatu, has on the behalf of the island of the small island state, you can see the major impact on loss and damage will be on the small island states, because they are fighting the life of their very existence. Because of the sea level rise, they will come under their whole existence is threatened. For example, Maldives, right? They are having symbolic parliament's cabinet meetings under the seawater. So from 1991, Vanuatu has proposed that this sort of compensation should be there. Then in 2010, in COP16 in Cancun, Mexico, they have decided the establishment of the subsidiary body of the implementation, right? So if the question comes, subsidiary body of implementation, what is this? So this is related to the losses and damages in the climate change negotiation. Then in 2013, establishment of Warsaw International Framework, Warsaw in Poland, in COP19. COP19, they have developed the Warsaw International Framework to help on these. Then COP21, that is the Paris Agreement, they have also acknowledged this. COP21, they have acknowledged that yes, losses and damages should be considered. Okay. Then in 2017, we have SUA expert dialogue, some expert dialogue on this losses and damages. And from 2019 in the COP25, they have decided to establish a Santiago network. Okay. So the idea is to catalyze technical assistance. So giving these countries technical assistance, but more of this, you can see these are more rhetorics in nature. Why? Because the developed country will say, what are the problems with losses and damage? Developed country will say, we are giving you money, and the money that we are giving for you for adaptation is very similar to losses and damages. You cannot differentiate between these two. This is the stand of the developed countries. Obviously, the developing country and the these small island countries will not agree to it, right? So developed countries are saying, no, this adaptation and the losses and damages are both same. We cannot differentiate between the two. Why we should give extra money? This is like this. So in the COP25, what is the decision being taken? Final decision on loss and damage that emerged was not as strong as the developing country have pushed for. So what they want, obviously, the developed country will not agree to it. Strong language was lost. A specific call for developed countries to increase their support. Final text essentially notes that the Green Climate Fund already supports activity that can be classified as losses and damages. Now you can see here what I'm trying to explain. So they are already saying the steps being taken for adaptation are already present for the losses and damages, with the suggestion that more can be done in the future. But again, these are nothing but rhetorics, right? So something about more loss and damages. So we have discussed the Warsaw International Mechanism on losses and damages, right? So then the Paris Climate Agreement, I told you that it acknowledged the problem of the losses and damages. However, it added a clause that the specific articles which relate to losses and damages does not involve a provide basis for liability for compensation. So they say, okay, that's fine, losses and damages are there, but you cannot claim more liability and compensation. And obviously the other countries, the small island states will say, no, no, this is not done. And again, we'll push for this losses and damages. So coming to the Santiago network, COP25. So the question, how question can come? The question can come, Santiago network is in the news. What is it relates to? Santiago network related to disaster management, is related to the climate change or something like that, right? So it is related to the losses and damages. So we have discussed the catalyzing the technical assistance. So these are the words. So taking steps to avoid, minimize and address loss and damage, enable quick access to the planning tool, exchange of knowledge and new partnership. You can see everything is just nothing but rhetoric. When real money is not there, then nothing becomes serious. All these things are just wishy-washy, isn't it? Then just to discuss that what are the impacts of loss and damage on the small island states, on the sea level rise. So immediate impacts can be seen, long-term impacts and other impacts. Immediately we can see on the surface water, salt water intrusion is there. Storm surges we can see, for example, the example we have seen of tropical cyclones, how much in India you can see the frequency, and the damages that tropical cyclones are causing, the changes of the route of the tropical cyclone. For example, we've discussed the tropical cyclone that is Amphan, isn't it? Then we have longer term impacts such as erosion, impact not only in the surface water but also in the groundwater. So groundwater contamination by the salt water intrusion, coastal wetlands such as mangroves, salt marshes, those will be impacted. Then the overall the fresh water supply will be problematic. Then if you see sea water rise happens, so what will happen? The cities which are at the coast, they will be submerged. And you know that how coastal infrastructure provides a lot of livelihood, and a lot of people live in that coastal space, isn't it? So that's a big problem. So sea level rise. We have in fact read this dam also, North European Enclosure Dam, if you remember. So why it is being built? Just to tackle the challenge of the sea level rise, right? So just to relate these two topics. Then we have tropical, extratropical cyclones. So that can again lead to these diseases, damage to the infrastructure. The whole existence of the small island developing states come into question. Then ocean acidification, already coral growth. We have discussed coral bleaching, the impact of the coral bleaching that was there. We have seen that how the third in the last 5 years, we have third case of the mass bleaching in the Great Barrier Reef, isn't it? So what about this? So this is the loss and damage. Coming to the next topic, that is carbon markets. Now, what about this COP25 says about it? So COP25 says it closed without resolving any of the most significant objectives is set out to achieve rules that is there in the Paris Agreement. So in the Paris Agreement, under the Article 6, they have defined, okay, this will be the mechanism for the carbon markets. But in COP25, they have deferred it to COP26. Okay, in the COP26, we will see. So this is what they done. For example, whenever you read about WTO also, ministerial conference, this is also happens. Okay, we will discuss this next time. We'll discuss this next time, like that. Okay, right. So Article 6 of the Paris Agreement, just to discuss this very important carbon market, just for example, just one second. Yes. So I hope you have read about CDM, Clean Development Mechanism under the Kyoto Protocol. Okay. So what is the basic idea? The basic idea is that, for example, one country has to reduce, for example, 100 units of this GHG emission, and the other country has to reduce 1000, right? Not 1000, let us say 500. So this country reduced, let's say 200. So 100 more than its quota. So it can exchange with this particular country. So this is basically the clean development mechanism, right, under the Kyoto Protocol. Similar mechanisms are there in the Paris Agreement as well. Okay. So the idea is to ultimately to commodify the climate emissions cut, so that ultimately the climate emissions cuts are there, right? It becomes financially attractive for the people. For example, why will one go for renewable energy? If it becomes financially attractive for me, right? So there should be a financial incentive to this. So they have decided to go for 3 mechanisms, that is 2 based on market and 1 based upon the non-market approach. Let us quickly see what these 3 approaches are. So the first approach is, just one second. So first approach is the market approach first, that is based upon the bilateral cooperation. Very easy. So country A is there, country B is there. Country A has says my NDCs are this much only, but they have gone beyond their NDCs to reduce this also. For example, India has said that we will produce 100 gigawatt of total non-renewable resources, but let us assume they have reduced, they start producing 150. So the extra that they will have created, this extra will go to the other country, those who are not able to achieve their NDC. They have to buy it, obviously the country too has to buy it. And that gives the incentive to the country A that we should not confine ourselves only to the NDCs. We should go beyond our NDCs. We should put more investment into these things so that we can trade this, we can sell this to the other countries. Okay, so this extra what they have done, country A for example, that is called internationally transferred mitigation outcome. Okay, so remember this word can also come, internationally transferred mitigation outcome, the extra that they have achieved. Okay, so that is the first mechanism. You can see in the first mechanism, it is more of a bilateral cooperation, country to country is there. Then in the second operation, market mechanism, very easy. In this, any public and private sector can do it. For example, tomorrow I establish my own industry and I employ very energy efficient mechanisms so as to reduce the overall carbon emission. If I do it, I'll earn some carbon credit. Okay, and then I can trade this on the global platform. So it is called sustainable development mechanism. So this question again can come, what do you understand by sustainable development mechanism? Okay, so it is related to the climate change, it is related to the carbon markets. So it intends to create new international carbon market. So emission reductions by public and private sector, delivery of the overall mitigation in the global emission. We'll discuss that. That is a very interesting concept. Overall mitigation in the global emission. Then supervised by the body designated by the COP, because here the bilateral cooperation is there. Here no need of supervision. The national agencies are there. Here for the public and the private sector, it will be monitored and supervised by the designated body by the COP. Then we have third, non-market mechanism. For example, Germany gives loan to India for establishing some renewable energy. Those credits will not be counted on the carbon market, and that is a non-market mechanism. For example, renewable energy, any country is collaborating with each other. For example, in developed country helping India or some other country to establish the renewable energy, something like that. Okay, so there are 3 mechanisms the Paris Agreement has said. It is related to the Article 6. This question also come that Article 6 of the Paris Agreement is in the news. What is this related to? Option 1, climate finance. Option 2, climate market or something like that. So keep that in mind also. Coming to what do you mean by overall mitigation of the global emission? What is this? Very easy. Now let us see, for example, one country has reduced 6 units of emissions. Now it can give it 6 units to the other country, those who have not done it. So this approach says, okay, fine, what you are doing is, both are reducing, that is fine. But this much unit is going to this place. So what can happen? It do not do anything and it will buy everything from outside. What they have said, no. Only if you are saying, for example, you are transferring 100 from here, only 80 will be counted in this second country. And when only 80 will be counted in the second country, you have already received 20 additional mitigation points, isn't it? So 100, if one country has done extra, only 80 will be counted to the next country. So that will lead to overall mitigation in the global emission. That means, first of all, every country should try to achieve the targets on their own. If they try to get it from the other country, it will be costly. So that every country should try to do it rather than depending upon the carbon markets itself. Okay. So this is beyond, it goes beyond the offsetting approach of the existing carbon clean development mechanism. So clean development directly says if you are 100, so transfer is 100. No, they are saying no, this will not be like that. 100, then it will go to 80, right? So this is one thing you need to keep in mind. It is called sustainable development mechanism. This is there, just to highlight, sustainable development mechanism under the market mechanism 2. Relatively tricky, relatively new thing. So that's all. So operationalizing overall mitigation global emission under Article 6 of the Paris Agreement. So just to revise, market mechanism 1, internationally transferred mitigation outcomes are there. Okay. So in addition to the NDCs, which one does, and it can trade also. Then market mechanism 2 is related to just, this is that only. Market mechanism 2 is international carbon market, emission by the public or the private sector. Then the non-market approach, which is by, for example, concession loans are given. Then, so this is COP25. So we have discussed everything related to COP25. I think this much is enough for our prelims purpose, right? From the mains examination, few more points are important. For example, what are the benefits of SDM over CDM? Then what the lessons we have learned of the CDM? Because as the Kyoto Protocol is coming to end in 2020, it becomes very, very important. For example, one question they have already asked on carbon markets previously. I think 2013 they have asked question, 2013, 2014. But they can again ask question, overall achievements of the Kyoto Protocol and what we have learned from Kyoto Protocol that can help in the implementation of the Paris Agreement. So this question you can prepare from mains perspective when the times of it comes. Then COP26, it is going to be held in the Glasgow, then Scotland. Okay, in November 2020, it was supposed to happen because this negotiation happened in 2020, but it has been postponed to 2021 due to COVID-19 pandemic. One important topic that has to be discussed there, it is called global stock take. Again, this question can come. Global stock take is in the news. What is this? So global stock take question can come. Now the question again you can be confused. For example, the question can come. It is related to the nuclear weapons. So taking a stock of whatever the nuclear weapons are there. No, it is not like that, right? So it is related to the overall review of the impact of the country's climate change action. So whatever NDCs that they have, every countries have decided their NDCs, right? Nationally determined contributions. What is the overall impact of it? What steps they have taken to complete this, like this. Okay. So this is COP25 that has been delayed. That is set to happen in Glasgow. So just keep in mind the countries as well where it is happening, especially in the year when you are giving prelims or the mains, right? Because the questions can come on it. So let us quickly revise what we have done. We started with a discussion, very basic, brief discussion I have given you on United Nations conference on the human environment. Then we have conference on the environment and development, related documents, climate change and the biodiversity. Then some specific COP we have seen. Then Doha amendment to Kyoto Protocol we have seen. From some timeline we have seen. Kyoto Protocol phase 1, Kyoto Protocol phase 2, then 2020 Paris Agreement will apply. Then we came to the Madrid conference that happened recently in December 2019. It was under presidency of the Chile, that is country in the South America. Then the 5 basically points, that is emission reduction, loss and damage, climate finance, carbon market and gender action plan. Loss and damage we have discussed in detail. What is loss and damage, how it is different from mitigation adaptation, right? Then we have discussed about in detail carbon markets, Article 6 of Paris Agreement. The 3 mechanisms are that is under the Paris Agreement. So market mechanism 1, 2 and non-market mechanism. Then we discussed overall mitigation of the global emission. Then finally we ended our discussion on the COP26, right? So this much is relevant for our prelims. I think not more than that will be asked. Apart from that, from your basics, please do prepare funds such as Global Environment Facility, Global Climate Fund, Green Climate Fund, sorry. So this is one thing you should prepare. One thing you can prepare is, I think, at Kyoto Protocol, because it can come. In 2020, it is coming to an end. So Kyoto Protocol can come. Some annex countries are there, Annex 1, Annex 2, non-annex countries are there. Just keep that in mind. What does annex signify? Then there are 6 greenhouse gases are there. One was added by Doha Amendment. in 2012. So that was NF3. Just keep that in mind, right? So these are few static things you can prepare on your own, and I've given you given you some hint over it. So please do prepare for this as well. Okay. So see you in the next session, everyone. Only April and May we are left out. I think May polity session is left out. I'll complete it. Then only science and tech and economy is left. Very quickly we'll finish both of them. Then we will start June and July simultaneously. Okay. So see you in the next everyone next class everyone. Bye bye for now. Thank you.